Victoria Ukamaka on Nigerian literature. Hi there, viewers. Today, I'm joining a conversation with fellow booktuber Victoria Ukamaka, popularly known as the Booktoria Quest. For those who don't know Victoria, I left a link in the description part of this video to her channel. You'll be able to find out more about her works and her books there. And she does quite a lot of good thing in the booktube society. She has amazing books review over there, and I'm urging you all to go out and check her out. So welcome on the show, Victoria.
Hi, Peter. I'm so happy to join you on the show today. How are
Yeah,
you doing?
yeah, I'm fine. It's been a pleasure. I'm so excited to speak with you.
Yeah, me too.
When we talk about Nigerian literature, because that's what we're talking about today, we talk about the
Okay,
body of literary writing by citizens of Nigeria for Nigerian
okay,
citizens. And this encompasses writers in a number of languages, including not only English, which is like the official language here in Nigeria, but Igbo, Robo, Hausa, Yoruba, and other Nigerian languages. And apart from the body of works, written in English, which is the official language here in Nigeria, I see that other literary works in Nigeria, indigenous languages, are dying off the market. We don't seem to hear about them. People don't talk about it often. No, I want to ask you, what do you think has happened to literature written originally by Nigerian indigenous languages?
okay. Thank you for that. I think mainly what happened to literature
Yeah,
written by indigenous Nigerian writers in Nigerian languages is that
yeah,
we abandoned it. We actually abandoned, and when I say we, I mean the school system, our parents, individuals ourselves. We just
wow,
abandoned this. Okay, let me explain. Like in the school system now, they one language is supposed to be compulsory for every school. For
yeah,
before you graduate, must you should in secondary school, take one language. But myself, I took WAEC. I did not write Igbo language.
wow,
They made it in such a way that the Igbo language was meant for only the arts. Yet, so if you are going to take Igbo language to be an elective, so I I didn't learn it for quite a long time, so I didn't have confidence in myself that I could write it. I
wow,
had other options. I had Agric, I had economics. As a matter of fact, I chose economics, above Igbo language, so it
wow.
was not compulsory. You understand? So, and for it to be that way, you're not encouraging Nigerian students to read indigenous written literature in their indigenous languages. You
Yeah.
understand? So coming to the parents' part, okay, I don't think that people actually read text from like written in their indigenous languages at home, not even the Bible, not
Wow.
the Quran, not anything.
Uh,
They basically read it in English. You understand?
yeah.
When it's only, I think, in church, when I go to church, that they read some text in
Interpreters.
Igbo language. You
Yeah.
understand? When I learned Igbo language, it was when I was in primary school because I was curious. Yes, I was curious and I was inquisitive. I wanted to know it. That was why I learned it, but not that I needed it in school or at home. And then, as individuals, we can speak, but we can't read. We know that we know many people, they study English, they learn French, they can read French, they can read Spanish, they learn Spanish and they can read it, but then they can't read their indigenous languages. It's not
Mm.
bad for you to learn other languages, but at least put your indigenous language into it.
Yes.
So we abandoned it. If we should, try again, I think we can get it more, but we just abandoned it. That's why many people do not read literature written in indigenous languages.
Yeah, I love your answer to that. And that even made me remember those times, in secondary schools. I know that
Yeah.
they often do it in most other schools, but the sort of, like call it attention that is being placed on the indigenous language is not good at all. And even the students are
Not
not
at
really that
all.
interested in it. You see somebody speaking a
Yeah.
language, but when it's been written down in text, it's very hard for them to
They can't
pronounce
read it.
or even write.
Yeah. Yes. That's bad. That's
It sounds
terrible.
very weird. It sounds, and I think this is something that is also very popular in other places. Like if you go to some places like Russian, you would see some people, not all of them anyway. Like it's something like it's very popular among places. Some people who are born in
Yeah,
Russian, but they cannot speak their language, but they're very fluent in all the
yeah.
languages. So
You
I just think
speaking, yeah.
it's quite a sort of a bad thing. And again, I love to add to it because there is the marketplace. I mean, I'm talking about the bookshops now. They don't really
Okay.
promote, works that are written originally in the language because they felt that nobody is going to buy it. Like people are not
Yeah.
very much interested in it. So it's pretty much spoiling a lot of things in terms of language acquisition and all of that.
Mm-hmm. So they will have to display what goes in the market. You
Yeah.
understand? You can't load Igbo or Yoruba novels like, and nobody comes to buy it. So you
That
have
means
to
you're going to
buy.
lose all your money.
I say, so you buy what people will
What
buy
people
from
buy,
you.
yeah, that's it. And that's one of the factors that is making everything to deteriorate. And like,
Yes,
the thing is going very much down, which is quite bad. So
yes.
Victoria, in your perception, who is the father of literature in Nigeria? I know that a lot of people have a different sort of opinion with this, but I'd love to hear from you since you read quite a lot of Nigerian literature. I'd love to hear from you who you consider or refer to as the father of Nigerian literature.
Okay. Before I answer that,
Yeah.
um, don't we need to have mother of Nigerian literature too? We always talk about father of this, father of
Wow,
that,
that's
father of history,
that's a
father of
good
this,
that's a good
mothers,
description.
uncle.
Isn't it mother that give birth to
So
fathers?
I say like, but that's not a direct attack on you.
Yeah, yeah, I
So
understand that.
continuing our discussion, when you say father of Nigerian literature, the
Yeah.
person that comes to mind is Chinua Achebe.
Wow.
And exposed a lot to Chinua Achebe's books,
Yeah.
right? I don't know. There are others who are qualified to be called fathers of Nigerian literature, like Ole Soyinka. But
Yeah.
to be sincere, I haven't read any of
Any of
Ole
his books.
Soyinka's books. Please don't allow this. I'm trying to fix that. Seriously, I'm trying to fix it. You
Well,
get,
the only
because
works I've read of Soyinka is Jero's play, and I did that when I was in secondary school. Jero's play,
I did
Jero's
not
metamorphosis, the trials of Brother Jero. Those are like a compulsory book as a then.
know. Mostly, I've read as a few. Okay, let me not say a few. I've tried. I've read some of Chinua Achebe's books,
Yeah.
and there are others. There is Ola wrote to me. We read some of his books in secondary school.
Yeah.
Why? Because we read Ola wrote to me's books. You get some of his books. I forgot, but I know we read them,
Yeah.
and I don't know why they in our scheme or something. But apart from that, you can place them side by side. Um, they are both authors from 1950s and 60s. Soyinka has published more books than
Yeah.
Achebe has. You
Yeah.
understand? He has won a Nobel Prize, but
Yeah.
Achebe's books have been read widely more than
Absolutely.
Soyinka. So I
Absolutely.
don't know. I cannot say for the fact that this person is because it is not in my place. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not even
understand. I understand. You're not being,
okay. So I cannot say this is the person. I won't be the one to judge that.
yeah, I
So there are
understand.
that there's even Cyprian Ekwensi. He gets he's an OG in Nigerian literature. There
Oh,
is Chukwemeka Ike. Okay, so they are all great and they are all our fathers. So any of them could be the father of Nigerian literature. I won't be the one to result.
yeah, I love that. So it's a sort of a very obvious thing. The sort of attention that is being placed on Chinua Achebe himself. It's known worldwide.
Yeah.
His novel, especially Things Fall Apart, has been read. This cover, I think,
Yes.
is an old cover. This is a kind of this is an edition from the African Writers series. His novel has been read
Yeah.
widely across almost all the nations of the world, and I think it's had over
And
50,000.
translated into so many
Yeah,
languages.
good. It has been translated into different languages. And he also have his Ant Eel of the Savannah. This I haven't read
Mm-hmm.
it, but I just bought it and added to my bookshelf. I don't even when I have the time, I would read and review to my channel. These are also one of his amazing.
Okay.
And Dix, which I love so much, which is like the history of the
Mm.
Nigerian history for a very long time. There was a country, a personal history of Biafra by Chinua Achebe.
Yes.
So he's been referred actually as the father of literature by one of the most popular works that he have, Things Fall Apart. And I can also talk about Wole
Yeah.
Soyinka. I know Wole Soyinka is also a fantastic writer. I particularly love him. I love the way he speaks. I love his. I haven't read much from him too, and I'm looking forward to reading his most recent release, The Chronicle of the Happiest People. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Or
Yes, I've actually gotten that one. I've gotten that one. I'm going to read it hopefully before the year runs out. I
oh,
am going to read that.
I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to getting that too. That seems to be one of the novel he published after how many years of not publishing a novel. So that's fun. I'm so excited to know about your answer to this question.
Yeah, me too. I just didn't want to be the one to call the results. I
Yeah,
don't
and
want anybody attacking me.
yeah, I understand. I understand. It's not a problem. This is like your own opinion, and other people
Yes.
might have their own different opinion. Now, I also want to
Yeah.
ask you, tell us anything, the books that you've read from Chinua Achebe, and if you have any sort of
Okay.
great recommendation that you love to make.
Of course, as I told you, I was exposed to Chinua Achebe's writings right from time, like from primary school. I think primary five. That was the first time we read Chike and the River. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
his first book we read in primary five. Afterwards, we read Things Fall Apart in junior secondary. After reading it in class, I've read it like 5 or 6 times on my
Wow.
own because I so much
I
love
love
it.
it. Wow.
You know, Things Fall Apart has so much deep things in it, and it's about Igbo culture, it's about traditions, white men coming to Nigeria and to the Igbo people and the effects it's had. So it's actually a great book, and I think I'm going to read it more in the
Wow.
coming years.
That's great.
Okay, after then on my own, I've read Arrow of God.
Wow.
I've read, I think, Anti-Use of the Savannah.
Wow.
I've read No Longer at Ease.
Wow.
And the last one I read, I think in 2019, was There Was a Country.
Wow.
That was the last of his books I read. I really appreciate There Was a Country because the Nigerian Biafran, I think we're not taught about it in school. You get,
Wow.
they were
Yeah.
just stories that teachers will sometimes refer to, not as if it's in history, in Nigerian history or something. But this book is very important with Chimamanda's The Half of a Yellow Sun. It's very important for us to know why this war was fought and the
Mm.
effects it had. That's if they are trying to cover it in a way, kind of. I don't understand why. And it's very important that we know,
We
because if
know.
you know the causes of war, if you know how it was fought, you will not be too quick to agree for what to happen again. You
Absolutely.
understand? So I really appreciate that book and Half of a Yellow Sun. So his books that are very much alive in my memory are Chick and the River, because it was the first and we were very excited to read it in primary school.
Uh,
Then Things Fall Apart, and then this last one I read, There Was a Country.
oh, that's great. I love your answer to this question. And, it made me a little bit feel jealous because I haven't really explored more of Chinua Achebe's work.
Don't worry, don't feel the pressure. That's how I feel too when I talk about Soyinka, because I've not read
Oh,
any of his
yeah.
books.
Yeah, that's true. I've actually seen quite a lot of people share on their status about this one. The Trouble with Nigeria by Chinua Achebe. And I'm like, wow, I can't wait to read that book. I went to the store,
Right?
to the bookstore in time. I asked for it, they don't have. I even asked for books by Will Soyinka, they said they don't. I said, what kind of store is this?
Which book do you now have?
What are you selling? You
I
own
don't
a bookstore, you
understand.
don't have Wole Soyinka. The woman was looking, was like, I'm very sorry. Our
Oh,
stock went down. We need to go back to Lagos. I said, oh my God.
oh
What are
God.
you selling if you don't have Soyinka's work or Chira Chepe? That's very funny. I've
Seriously.
heard quite a things about the trouble with Nigeria. I'm very looking forward to reading it, and all of those things by Chinua Achebe really sounds very nice. Now, I
Yeah.
also want to ask you, of the contemporary Nigerian writers, whose books have you experienced so far? I don't know if you've experienced one, and which one would you love to recommend? I don't know if you've read any works by the contemporary Nigerian writers.
Of course I have, and I've read quite a number of them, and I really, really do appreciate Nigerian writers because they are
Uh,
doing a great job.
It's
Take
great.
for instance, okay, Chimeka Garrett. Okay, the his book, A Broken People's Playlist that I read. I don't know if it's for it's fell into Nigerian literature, right?
Yes,
Because
not really that much.
what how do you categorize Nigerian literature? Because I'm not an art student myself. I did not like
I'm not
so
an art
much
student neither.
literature. Okay, so I used to feel like I'm not categorizing books into literature very well, but
Okay.
I'm talking about Nigerian writers in general, contemporary writers. So Chimeka Garrix, I love his A Broken People's Playlist, and I would recommend it to a lot of people because it's emotional evoking, it's
Wow.
deep, and it's a wonderful book.
Oh, that's great.
Another author I would like to recommend is Erukom. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. She's this Nigerian writer I met on Instagram, and I read one of her fantasies. Not Seen is a Flower. It's this fantasy book about Cup, Cus, Cupid, Abi Cuspid, like the love thing or something. So, and I loved it. It was wonderful, and I would like a lot of people to like check her out and read her book because she's actually a wonderful writer. It's just a short story.
Oh,
Erukom, Not Seen is a Flower, is the title of the book. So she's a nice writer. She has written another book also, Dusk, and it's wonderful. Then I love Elnathan John. I loved his Born on a Tuesday. I loved
um,
Becoming Nigerian. They were
yeah.
wonderful. I think the thing is he does not write in a particular way. The both ways, should I say both? The ways he writes are actually wonderful. Born on a Tuesday is actually has a simple writing style that is very easy for people to understand and for you to relate. And Becoming Nigerian is funny and satirical. I hope I said
Yeah.
that right. So it's wonderful. I think people would love it. So I also recommend Stay With Me by Ayobami Adebayo.
Mm.
That book evoked a lot of emotions. It's deep. It talks about this Obanje and family and stuff. It's a very wonderful book. Like it's deep.
I'm taking
It's
notes.
deep. Yeah, you should. It's really a wonderful book, and she's a wonderful writer. So I think a lot of people should check her book out. And then there is Ukamaka Odisakwe. Have you read Uzodinma?
No.
Oh, that book is wonderful. You should
Uh,
read it. She's a wonderful writer too. And then there's Chigozie Obioma.
yeah.
I will tell you the truth. I think I've told you before, his book gave me an emotional wreckage.
That's Chigozie.
Like, yeah, Chigozie Obioma, The Fisherman.
The
I read The
fisherman.
Fisherman.
Wow.
The person I recommended the book was Voke Etefe. I told her after reading, I told her, this book has caused me an emotional wreckage. And she was like, welcome to the club. So the book is wonderful. Like if you can handle the emotional damage, I'd recommend that you read it because the book it's wonderful. The themes are wonderful. The story is deep on its own. So I think we should check out these contemporary Nigerian writers. They're wonderful and their books deserves more eyes to be seen. They're just
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, that's great. I've heard good things about Becoming Nigeria. Once you love books, you tend to get to know what books is nice, and people recommend some
Yeah,
books. I've got to know about Becoming Nigerian. I've seen people share it on their the timeline, etc., on post and say it's very funny and all of that. And I've
yeah,
heard things about Chigozie Obioma too. And what I actually get to know about him, I searched for him on Goodreads, and I found out that he was born here in Akure. I was like, wow, he was born in
yeah.
Akure. And because I also answered Shigozi, I was like, it's my type of my namesake, born in the same city where I am.
Oh,
And I
your
said,
name
oh
is
God, I
Chigozie.
need, yeah. I said, wow, I need to be
Okay.
the fisherman then.
The book, The Fisherman, is actually set in
In
Akure.
Akure,
I
yeah, I
think
heard about it too. I think I know I
the
from
three of
reviews
them.
I watched, I got to find it very interesting, but I've not taken my time to check it out.
Okay, you should.
Yeah. That would be great. Now, I want to ask you kind of a question that I consider very, very, you know, very nice and very timely at our time here in Nigeria. We all know
Mm.
that reading culture among Nigerian youth is dying. What can you
I,
say about the approach of Nigerian youth towards reading and literature at large? Why do you feel most people, especially the young ones, are not interested in reading literature works compared to how they used to do in time past?
okay, I think that Nigerians in general and Nigerian youths liked reading literature when they still had faith in the educational system. I
Hmm,
think it's the Nigerian educational system that caused everything to,
absolutely.
go down to the drain because they don't have faith in the educational system. So, okay, when the Nigerian education system started failing them, the youth started saying school na scam.
Yeah.
You understand? And now they what they uphold now is hustling. They'll be like hustle, oh, go and hustle, who school help.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
understand? When you tell somebody about books or reading, they'll be like, who book help?
Mm.
Like all the people that have read, all the people that have studied, where are they now? No
Right. What impact has it
employment.
got into the?
Exactly. So they kind of trash books and what they are into now is hustling. You understand? When I read books and share the links with some people, like check out this book I reviewed, they'll be like, "Are we still reading books in this age?" You understand? Like
People
it's
like,
so
what's this
bad
one
because
doing?
I swear, like they've lost so much
I
faith
used to experience
in
that too.
reading and education that they don't even want to talk about books. They don't want to read again. They'll ah, it's so frustrating. I think they will get more interest again when education starts rewarding in Nigeria, when they are sure that they can get employment, they can be employed after studying, when they are sure that reading is not a waste of time.
Mm.
You understand? So I think it will improve. It's just the system that is, discouraging everybody. A lot of people like to read, you understand, but they can't do it because they feel they should put their efforts and time in something else
Time.
that is
Absolutely.
going to help their future. You understand? There are some people that swear that they have never opened any book that does not concern school or anything.
Mm.
They don't open books apart from if
Uh,
they need it
Even
to
for
pass their
exam.
exams. And it's very bad. It's very bad. So I think they lost faith in the educational system, and if that faith can be worked on, people go back to reading again
Yeah.
because people do love reading.
Yeah, I love your answer to that. I so much love your answer to that. And it's very obvious now in Nigeria, even with what is currently happening, they've been on strike. The universities across Nigeria has been on strike for over 5 months now. And the federal government
Yeah.
haven't done anything reasonable about it. And it's very, very terrible. Now, can you now tell me somebody who has been on strike for over 5 months, now telling me that come and pick up a book and you tell, excuse me, what are you talking about? Please go and sit down. It's
As
very,
in,
very sad.
it's
The education
discouraging.
system is not encouraging, and most people have tend to see books as a waste of time, waste of resources. They don't see it as something very worth doing, and it's very, very sad, honestly.
It's pathetic. We should work on that.
So, Victoria, could you tell us about Booktoria Quest? Why did you start a channel?
Okay, it's kind of a funny, it's not funny, but the story of my starting my channel is somehow because when
Yeah.
I started the channel was during the pandemic. I was
Oh,
bored to death. I wanted to do something. At that point, I
yeah.
had my hair shaved because I wanted to start growing a virgin hair. So I was like, okay, let me start uploading videos and share my hair journey. But then at the same point, I started reading books. I wanted to read more books than I usually read. So I was like, okay, that is true. I could also share my book experience, the books I read and stuff. I was like, wow, I just discovered something that nobody has ever thought of. I was like, okay, let me check. I went to YouTube and guess what? I made a whole Bookstagram community. I thought that this was a unique idea.
Wow.
I didn't know that people were already doing it.
Already
It was
there.
kind of discouraging and overwhelming because I'm
Um,
going to start in this community that is so large that nobody's even going to, you know, know me or see me. I like no problem. It's what
wow.
they try. So I did my first video. I reviewed a book and I did the next and the next, and then it has been going. I haven't been so consistent the way I want, but I think I'm doing okay.
Yeah, that's great. I love the story of your conception. It sounds very
It's
nice, and I
funny.
love that. You
You should
know,
have seen my face when I saw like the community was so large. Like I couldn't
Yeah.
even begin to.
Yeah, I'll go back and go and check your first ever published video.
I might go and delete that because, well, no
I used
problem.
to
You can go
delete
and check.
video on
It's
YouTube before, but I
very
just said that let me just leave them alone. And sometimes when I go over my old video, I just start laughing. I'm like, oh my God, can you imagine? Peter, is
sometimes
this
I can't even stand to watch my own because I used to look like
it's
somebody that
very
is so
awkward.
scared. I think it's so awkward and weird. But with time to improve, that's what there's plenty room for improvement.
Yeah, I
Even
think everybody
up to
feels
now,
that
I
way.
still, yeah, up to now, I'm still working on my camera confidence, but I think I'm
Oh,
improving.
everybody actually have that sort of feeling. Like every booktuber, once you go ahead and check the
Yeah.
video you've made a year ago or 2 years ago, you'll be like, oh my God. Sometimes I
What
can't,
is this person saying?
honestly, sometimes when I see myself, like, oh my God, Peter, you talk too fast.
God.
Well, that's very fun. And I also want to ask you, who is your, I know we might have probably answered this question alongside already, but who is your best prominent Nigerian writer?
Uh, I probably did not mention her name because I wouldn't want to mention her name with others. I think
Okay.
I love Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie.
Oh,
There
okay.
was a time I was so obsessed with her books that I read only her books for like a month or two.
Uh,
Like she's a great person. I love her writing. And then the other person I like that is also my best is Chika Onigwe because of the kind of uh, themes she writes on. She writes about immigrants from Nigeria to Europe, from
oh,
Africa to Europe, how it's not as easy as other people perceive it to be. You know, people think that once you make it over there, that is going to be all greener pastures for you, your life is
uh,
going to change. But then it's not like that. Sometimes they even find out that their lives were better off in Nigeria
where
than
they
it
left.
was in Europe. And then, but they can't come back because it's going to be shameful
Yeah.
for them to come back. People in Nigeria or at home will be like, you went there and you came back empty handed.
Mm,
And so these people suffer depression, poverty, like they suffer a lot and they can't say it because who are you going to tell? You are even
horrible. Not
mostly
a good story
alone
to
there,
tell. Yeah.
and you can't even tell somebody at home because they'll be like, you are not appreciating that you are even out of this country.
It's
You understand?
this mess.
So I love her books a lot, and I wish a lot of people will read Chika Onigwe's book. There is Better Never Than Late. There's on Black Sister Street, and many of them. I like the themes of her writings, and I'd like others to like read it before you travel out, or even if you're thinking of traveling out, except you are traveling out based on employment, you have a job, sorry, a
Yeah.
well-paying job there already. You
Yeah.
understand? So there are still other things to face because when you go out from home, you are going to miss home. You might be depressed, but at least the problem of money will not be much for you. But
Yeah.
when you go over there without being employed, it's going to be very terrible.
Yeah.
Also, I've mentioned Ernest and John. I've mentioned Chimeka Garrix. I love them. Their writings are
That's
great.
great. And I think you've reviewed that book you're talking about migration to Europe on your channel before. Because I remember I left a comment, so something related to that. I'm not very sure.
Yes, I did not review the book itself. I was
Okay.
talking about uh, another book, and then I now mentioned something about migration, then talked about those books.
Okay,
You
okay. So
understand?
Victoria, I'd love us to do some reading. We'll be reading an indigenous Nigerian literature book. I'll start from my
Mm.
side because I have this book here, Abike Onikbaraga. I'm pretty sure the viewers might not get to know understand what I'm talking about. And it seems like a very old book because it has been old, very, very long time. And I love the fact
Okay.
that even the words are given, there's something we call Ami in Yoruba, the do, re, mi,
Okay.
to tell you how you're going to pronounce it. Abike, do, mimi, uniparaga. Yeah, that's the title of the book.
Okay. What
So
does it mean?
Abike
Like,
is a name. Abike is a name. Then uniparaga. My God, I can't remember what Unikparaga actually interprets currently in English. Unikparaga, I can't really tell what that actually implies now.
Okay,
I'm,
no
I'm reading a
problem.
single
Continue.
I'm reading a single page about 200 words from a novel. Yeah, from the novel here. Then
All right.
I'd also love you to read anyone in Igbo language too. So I'll just start
Okay.
from. Let me start from. This is like the novel itself. It's a play. You know,
Okay.
play are written in act and scene. Yeah,
Yeah.
so this like act and scene. It's Iran KG. I'm reading Iran KG.
Okay.
Iran KG is like second. Okay, we have Idon and Iran. So Idon is like the art, Iran is like the scene. Now you're laughing.
Okay. I'm learning Yoruba language
Yeah,
today.
that's fine. We are teaching here. So this is like
Okay.
Idon Kini, Iran KG. That's the second act, the first act rather, and the second scene. And the
Okay.
title here is Ishe Nikoje. Ishe Nikoje. Now I'll start here over here. Like, I'm not. This is a book that is not very that popular, so most people might not be very involved in it. I'll go ahead. Ní inú kótásì ìjọba tí Ládélé àti ìyàwó rẹ̀ ń gbé ló gba iléeṣẹ́ rélùwéè ní Dùgbẹ̀. Adùkẹ́ ń ta ọjà fún àwọn aládùúgbò wọn. Ládélé ti lọ síbi iṣẹ́. Actually, Ládélé is a name. Then Adùkẹ́ is the woman, is the wife. Ládélé is the husband. So what this place is
Okay.
actually saying is that Ládélé has gone to work and Adùkẹ́, actually they just get married together. And Ládélé has
Okay.
opened a sort of something like a kiosk for his wife outside,
Okay.
so she can sell things for the neighborhoods and people around. So now Bossede is like a customer who has come to patronize Aduke in a kiosk. So the thing goes ahead and said, Bossede, Eko Rajeo. Then Aduke, oh, kini efera o. Bossede, ẹ fún mi ní ṣúgà àti iyọ̀ abọ́ kan kọ̀ọ̀kan. Aduke, ṣé ó ti tán? Ó gbé ojú sókè, ó rí ọkọ rẹ̀ tó ń ti ibi iṣẹ́ bọ̀, ó fi oníbàárà rẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ó lọ pàdé baálé rẹ̀. Àdùkẹ́, mò ń bọ̀ o, ó lọ. Ládélé, ó kárí aya mi, wàá ṣoríire. Àdùkẹ́ answered and said, ẹ kú àtàárọ̀ o, ṣé kò rẹra? Ó gba àpò ìfà lọ́wọ́ rẹ̀. Ládélé, rárá, ṣé dáadáa ni mo bá ilé? Àdùkẹ́, àlàáfíà ni, kò sí ìyọnu. Bọ́sẹ̀dé, ẹ jọ̀ọ́, ẹ dá mi lóhùn o. So what actually happened here is that, Aduke was trying to sell market to Bosede. Bosede actually wanted from, I don't know if you can grasp what I was saying initially.
I can.
She was asking she wanted to buy sugar. So something like that. And at the point of Aduke answering Bosede, she saw her husband coming from work and she left the customer to go and attend to her husband. So she collected the bag from her husband, etc. And while waiting for the customer was actually waiting while the whole act was going on. So the thing actually went ahead and read more further. I just love this particular part because it's quite very humorous. Because the thing actually went ahead. Let me just read in Yoruba. I'm pretty sure the viewers might not understand what I'm talking about, but it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Ladili
is.
went ahead and said, Rara, ṣé dáadáa ni mo bá ilé? Àdùkẹ́, àlàáfíà ni kò sí ìyọnu. Bọ́sọ̀dé, ẹ jọ̀ọ́, ẹ dá mi lóhùn o. Ó wọ́n tìka tìgbin. Èmi náà ní ọkọ tí yóò máa retí mi o. Tọkọtaya alúbẹ̀m̀bẹ́. Ṣèbí ìbàjẹ́ ń lọ tọ́kẹ́ tó máa dì mọ́ ara yín. Àbí irú àwọn akúmámùjúdi bí ẹja ṣáwá wọ̀rẹ̀ yìí. That's a funny word. Now, ọkọ wọlé lọ, Àdùkẹ́ di ọjà Bọ́sọ̀dé fún ẹlòmíràn today. So that's how the old issue actually went. Let me just stop there.
I absolutely do not understand anything except the one to explain. Yoruba language is kind of funny. Yoruba language sounds like you are cursing somebody. Like when they are talking with so much force, like you feel like you have, yes. But it's fun. I like it. I like it.
That's funny. That's funny. I wouldn't know if you'd love to read any sort of a short thing from your own side there.
Yeah, of course. I'd love to read Igbo language. I have this book, Ije Odumo-Odujere, like Odumodu's journey. Odumodu is the name of the main character, and the title is Odumodu's journey. Ije Odumo-Odujere.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'll be reading the first page of the book. So I'll start now.
Yeah.
Nna m mụrụ ụmụ isii, ndị ikom anọ na ndị inyom anọ. My father has 6 children, 4 boys and 2 girls. Abụ m nke atọ n'ime ha. I'm the third. I'm the third
I
child.
understand that.
Okay, for the audience, they may not understand. Okay. Nke ọkpara na nke olo gara ịmụ ọrụ n'ebe nna m mefuru ọtụtụ ego. Okay, the first and the second child went to learn a skill at a place where his father spent a lot of money. Okay, n'ihi ya o nwekwaghị ike ịkwụ ụgwọ ọmụmụ ihe. Okay, because he spent a lot of money for the first and the second child, he could not pay for his own learning.
Okay.
Okay. Mgbe m gbara afọ 15, m gara ilegide otu obodo nta o nwere a na-akpọ Ora. Okay, when he was 15 years, he went to a town called Ora, nke dị Benin. So, okay, the place Ora is close to Benin.
Okay.
Obodo a bụ ebe otu onye nwa ala Benin, ọba Benin, gbara ọsọ gaa mgbe ndị ala ọzọ ahụ niile dị n'okpuru ya chọrọ igbu ya. Okay, he said that place called the town called Ora is the place where the Oba of Benin went for refuge when the other towns wanted to kill him. So he went for refuge at Ora. Okay, ọrụ anyị n'obodo a bụ ịkpa anụmanụ na ịrụ ọrụ ubi. Their job in the town was rearing animals and doing farm work. I'm really trying. Okay, let's keep going.
Oh my God.
Okay.
The indigenous can be very funny at times.
Yeah, it is, but it's been long I read Igbo language.
Yeah, I understand.
When I was small, I loved reading Igbo because I was very curious and I wanted to learn it. Okay, let's continue.
Yeah.
M nọrọ afọ 3 n'ala ahụ tupu m chegharịa echiche ma chọọ ịmata ịkwa nka. He stayed 3 years in Ora before he rethought about it and then wanted to learn about ịkwa nka. That's the nka. I don't know if it's learning a skill or it's a kind of art that I don't know. You get? So the name of the art is ịkwa nka. I don't know if it's weaving baskets or something, but it sounds like weaving baskets. Okay. So he left it to go and learn that art. N'ihi nke a, m hapụrụ obodo a bịa gaa Eko, ebe ọtụtụ ndị nka maara ihe dị mma nọ, bụrụ onye ozi otu onye isi ndị ọkwa nka. Okay, he left Ora to Eko, another place called Eko, to learn the ịkwa nka, the art, where Eko is a place that many people that know the art live. Okay. N'oge ahụ moto adịghị, ụgbọ anwụrụ ọkụ kwa adịghị ọtụtụ na osimiri obodo anyị otu ha dị ugbu a. He said at that time there were no vehicles and ships, that is ụgbọ anwụrụ ọkụ, ships were not plenty in the sea or in the river. I don't know. No osimiri sea, so there were not plenty in the sea. Okay. Onye chọrọ ịga Eko n'oge ahụ na-ahụsi anya nke ukwuu. So because there were no vehicles, if you want to go to Eko, you are going to really suffer a lot before you get there. Mgbe ụfọdụ ọ ga-anọ ihe dịka otu ọnwa na ụma n'elu mmiri. Like you might say about a month and a half on the high sea before you get to Eko. Okay. Bụ ugo osisi ka m jiri gaa Eko. There must be a ship that is called ugo osisi. I don't know the ship. So he said he used it to go to Eko.
Yeah.
Ọha niile maara na oge ahụ bụ tụfuo ndụ were ọnwụ n'iji ụgbọ osisi aga ije ọbụla tere anya, n'ihi na ndị na-akpa mmadụ ere jupụtara n'elu mmiri na-achọ ndị ha ga-akpara. Okay, he said that people know that it's very dangerous to travel through that means as at that time because there were many kidnappers on the sea looking for
Oh,
who to kidnap and sell for money. So
oh,
that's the end of the first page
that's great. That's
of the
great.
book. Did
That's
I
that's
try?
yeah, you
It's
tried.
been a
That's
long time.
amazing. You, you
Oh
you
God.
you know the main what's it called? Reason for all this is just to make a kind of a shout out to books that are indigenously written in Nigerian languages that people seems not
Yeah,
to. Because when we talk about Nigerian literature, we often talk about the literature that is written in English language alone. And I'm pretty sure there will be some sort of write-up like this that are written in Hausa language. There will be some that are written in Yoruba. There will be some that will be written in, we have, Nigeria is a very big country with diverse sort of languages,
ethnic groups, yes, and
ethnic
languages.
groups and languages. And I can't even remember how many languages we have in Nigeria. I've forgotten. I think I have to make a
I
research
think we
about
have
it.
250 ethnic groups.
Can you imagine?
Yeah,
We have quite
yeah,
a lot of languages, and despite the diversity in terms of languages, that's why we're often called, the giant of Africa. And with all these languages being spoken in different parts of Nigeria, we often do not get to know and hear about literature that are originally written in indigenous language. And that's why I picked this as a sort of a shout out to books that are written directly in Yoruba language. And you did yours also as a sort of shout out to books that are indigenously written in Igbo language. And I'm pretty sure something like this will also exist in other languages that we have here in Nigeria. It's very much fun. I think it's a good thing that someone should do at least once in a while.
yeah, it is. It is. And I encourage people to read in their indigenous languages because if not, our languages are going to be lost in the near
Yeah,
future because nowadays in these modern homes, children speak English at
everywhere.
home.
Yeah,
So it's
everywhere.
it's not good because if we don't learn to read our languages, it's going to be lost.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's very, very funny because nowadays I get to see some videos online of some foreigners speaking Nigerian languages and they are very fluent with it. So it's not like it's sort of a call for us to, nurture and praise works that are written in our own language, to be able to read, not only to be able to speak, to be able to
Yes,
read and write. So now,
yes.
Victoria, who are you shouting out to? Would you love to shout out to any booktubers or friends?
Yeah, of course. If I'm going to shout out to my friends, they won't go today or to my family because they support me a lot and I'd love to mention all their names. So I'm just going to say general shout out to my family and my friends for all their support.
Yes.
To all those people that watch my funny videos, my my immature and weird videos. When I talk like somebody wants to beat me, I really want to appreciate all of them. I really
Great.
appreciate. Then I'd like to shout out some YouTubers that I know. The first person is Voke Etofe. Mostly I'll be mentioning their YouTube channel names because I don't know their names in
Okay.
person, but
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
their
That's
channel
fine.
names. But
Yeah.
Voke Etofe is her name and it's her channel name. I'd like to shout out to her. She was the one that introduced me to Chigozie Obioma, and she was the one
Oh.
that told me, "Welcome to the club." After my emotional
Oh.
wreckage,
That's
and it's
great.
like her and Rachel Ayo and you that the most Nigerian booktubers I interact with. So mostly you and her, and then like to shout out to Cody Books. Her channel name is Cody Books. I think her name is called the Chi Olise. I'd like to shout out to her. And then I'd like to shout out to Francisca from Siska's World. Yeah, she's also a Nigerian booktuber. Yeah, I've had a book chat with her too
Oh,
before in the
that's great.
past. Yeah. And then to In Between Books, she's also a Nigerian booktuber. I don't know her
Wow.
name. Yeah, I'm shouting out to her. And then to Madam Crystal Butterfly, I
Oh.
interacted with her a few months ago, and I liked her. She's unique, and I like her content. Book Book Zealot.
Oh,
Yeah,
Book Zealot. Mrs.
you
Aaron
know
and
her.
Prometheus.
Hi, yes,
Yeah, we are
yeah,
shouting out
I'm
to you,
shouting
Mrs. Aaron and Prometheus.
and then to Uche Ezudo, she's also a Nigerian booktuber, but I've not seen much of her, but we interacted at a point, and
Wow, that's a
then
lot
we've
of
lost
Nigerian
contact again.
booktubers on BookTube that I don't even know.
Yeah, they are there. They
Wow.
are there. And then to Rana Naja,
Wow.
um, she's also a booktuber, but not Nigerian. And I think that's pretty much. I know plenty of booktubers, but I can
Yeah,
just mention these ones at this point.
that's great. I would try my possible best and mention them in the discussion part of the video. Thank you
Okay.
so much, Victoria, for coming on the show. It's a pleasure having you speak about Nigerian literature and some other things.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I really appreciate you having me here. I had fun talking about Nigerian literature. Sometimes I feel like I don't know enough about Nigerian literature to talk about Nigerian literature because I did not study. I studied a science course. I
Yeah, I
was
understand.
science inclined.
Yeah,
But then talking about books, I love reading and I love to talk about books. I really appreciate um joining you on the show.
you're
Thank you for
welcome.
having
It's a pleasure. It has been a very fun conversation. I enjoyed so much with a lot of laughs and everything.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Catch you up later.
No problem.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, goodbye.